There's somebody in that corner back there. I don't know who it is. I sense I sense that Zack Knight might be in a cage. So when I post this video, you all let me know. I have been so busy working on the audiobook for Jesus the Eternal Bridegroom. And another thing, one thing that I have to do when I make the audiobook, um, just wanted to show you, this is me at about 128 pounds. This is like the lowest I've been since I've been on Seroquel. So, it is possible to be on Seroquel and not get that. So, um, oh. So, I haven't been doing my facelift and waist exercises like I should do. I do my walks every day because I'm under divine orders to do that. Okay. Um, Whoever's there, they can't move. I wonder if the Lord put him in a cage. If you guys see him there, let me know, okay? But you can see like a pink glow on the camera, though I can't see it here. But I sense that somebody's there. I do. And I sense that it's Zack Knight in a cage. So you let me know if I'm right. Somebody can't move. It's like maybe Jesus is punishing him or something. He keeps visiting my apartment and I'm getting sick of him. And I told Jesus, I don't have time to get my shoes out all the time and whack this guy. So can you just take care of him? So maybe the Lord put him in a cage. Yeah, I sense he's right there. Lord, is he safe in a cage? I mean, can you just get him out of my apartment? Maybe the Lord's punishing him. Anyways, so I was going to talk about my writings. This is me at 128 pounds. I am a writer, actress. Yes, I'm adding acting onto my resumes. When you go to my Twitter page, I call myself a writer, screenwriter, lawmaker, voice actor, audiobook narrator. And that is correct. So I'm 57 years old and I can still wear a bikini. Not perfect. I mean, I can't compete with the 20-somethings there, but still. Anyways. Okay, back onto the subject of my writing. I just need to tell you what I've been hearing brain to brain, and I think it's accurate. My book, Jesus the Eternal Bridegroom, is my best seller of everything I've written. I do consider it my best work, but I think it's more than that. I think it has to do with the fact that I have started an audiobook on this. That Zack Knight never expected me to make any audiobooks of any of my writings. So he was not able to sabotage my webcam camera, and I'm able to make an audiobook using that. I told Brent, they recommend that you get not a USB mic, but a different kind of mic when you make an audiobook. And I said, I'm not really working with the equipment they recommend. Brent said you'd be better off not to have all the equipment they recommend, because if you get the equipment they recommend, Zack Knight will be able to sabotage it and he'll have lots of fun. He said, even though you may think the quality is not where you want it on your webcam, he said it's good enough where people can understand you. And he said, just work with what you have. I have to admit, for a Logitech Webcam Pro 9000, I've got a really good microphone. I mean, considering what I'm working with. And Brent seems to be telling me brain to brain that they actually, a couple years ago, my men actually went in there and did some work on my Logitech Webcam Pro mic and kind of enhanced the mic to make it better. So they said, Gail, you're actually working with a better mic than what you think you have. It's better than what you paid for, because we actually went in there. Vladimir had to go in there and fix my Logitech Webcam Pro 9000 one time because I messed it up, because I was messing with the software. And I think he enhanced the mic. So I've got a pretty high quality mic for a webcam. It's not like your typical webcam microphone. So it's good enough for me to make an audiobook recording. I was listening to my audiobook recording, and I'm very understandable. I definitely have a different sound from your typical audiobook, but I'm understandable. And I think people will enjoy my audiobook record narrations. I finished reading all of the chapters except the last chapter in Jesus the Eternal Bridegroom. And right now, what I want to do is I want to just work on editing and mastering all of the readings that I've done thus far, just to make sure that I'm making the best original recording. Because even though I make a recording, it never goes to Amazon's ACX exactly as it is. I always have to edit it and master it to meet their requirements. They want like -3. If you go to their website, they've got really strict requirements, and so I have to make sure I follow that. And it looks like using Audacity and FreeAct, some software, free software I've downloaded onto my computer, that I'm able to do this. But what's really strange, we've discovered, and this is what I've heard brain to brain, and I think this is accurate. Zack Knight, anybody who's gone to my Amazon site, you've probably noticed that there are some obvious Jesuit reviewers at my site. Zack Knight has flooded my Amazon site with Jesuit book reviewers. In fact, one of them, named Etta Vende, actually poses under 2 names, Morgana and Etta Vende. It's the same reviewer, and they're posing as 2 different people at Amazon, and they're both viciously unfair in the way they critique my writings, and obvious Jesuit agents. This person even admits he or she is Roman Catholic, but they, I believe they're also a Jesuit agent. You know, I was just getting fed up I'm just so proud of this book that I wrote basically I wrote it for Jesus, because, you know, look at the title, Jesus the Eternal Bridegroom. And I was reading the unfair criticisms, and I thought, you know what, this is just outrageous. I have written a really good book, and these critics are just so unfair. And I said, I'm afraid that some people are going to read their reviews and not even give my book a chance, because they're just going to believe what these reviewers say about my book. So I said, I know how I'm going to solve this problem. Let's make an audiobook. And, you know, people listen to a 5-minute sample, because I actually have a little bit of acting ability. And so I said, okay, let's go ahead, Gail, and you be the narrator, because one of my fans out there encouraged me to do this, and it's taken a lot. It's not been easy, but I finally figured out how to do this. And so I'm going to narrate. I'm going to make an audiobook for this book, and then all my other books. I'm planning on making audiobooks for everything. The reason why is, you know what I found out? Is not only is Zack not using his clone versions of the internet, so that all the writing monies go to Jesuit banks and Amazon gets no record of my sales, he's also using switch out and brain control. So people get the right book in the mail from Amazon. Amazon's not doing anything wrong. They're just dealing with very sophisticated Jesuit technology. People will get the right book in the mail. They'll open it up, and when they start reading it, Zack Knight uses brain control on them, so that what they see on the page is not what I wrote, but what some Jesuit saboteur wrote. So these people that are criticizing my Silver Skies as being boring and the characters are repetitive and boring, they're actually criticizing what they've actually read off of a Jesuit doctored version of my book. And these people who, I have allergies. And for this book, which is like my biggest masterpiece of all, I was wondering how Zack would criticize this. He had a little bit of trouble. He had to take his time. Finally, the only way he can criticize it is by lying. So he's claiming that the scenes that I have in there, where I go really deep into Brent's soul and how Brent loves me from the depths of his heart, that I'm just on some big ego trip and think, you know, and I write all these flowery, gushy scenes that make me appear like a goddess, and that they're just so inflated and so exaggerated that they show that I'm totally out of it, you know, totally out of reality. But that isn't correct. But if you get the Jesuit doctored version of my book, allergies here. If you get the Jesuit doctored version of my book, that's what you'll read. So in a sense, the Jesuit reviewers are not lying because, well, I think they know they're lying, but they're not lying in a sense because they are criticizing what they actually read, which was Zack Knight using his mind control. You may say, this is terrible. You mean we can't order a book from you without having mind control used on us so we don't read what you wrote? My men, from what I understand, are trying to work around this. So what I encourage you to do is when the audiobook comes out, or compare it with, if you have both the audiobook and a written version. Boy, Zack Knight's giving me allergy problems. Compare the two, and if there's a difference, contact my men at gailsmen@yahoo.com, GAILSMEN @yahoo.com, or Gail Chord Schuler @gmail.com. Boy, and let them know that what you are reading is different than the audio version, and my men will probably just give you a free copy of the written version. I think they've come up with a way to get a written version out there where Zack can't use brain control on you to cause you to read something different than what I wrote. So that's because I started the audiobooks, it's making my men aware of the problem. Wow, and apparently Zack Knight's been doing this for a while. He did it with my Silver Skies to make my book appear boring when it was not. He did it with Forbidden Abyss Part 1 to make the scenes appear more sexually vulgar than they were, and he omitted. What he did is he only kept the scenes in there that showed the sexual vulgarity, but didn't go into the hearts and souls of my men. He omitted the part that went into the hearts and souls of my men and how this affected them, as if I wrote the book only to glorify sexual vulgarity. So it's just, Zack Knight is just full of crap, you know. He's very sneaky and tricky and very deceptive, and all of my books have depth, spiritual depth, and the only reason I go into sexually explicit material, which the Jesuits are claiming is pornography, which is really ironic, because so truth is pornography, Jesuits, because I expose your rapists and murderers. That's pornography. I mean, this is what they do. They label people who expose them in order so that people will just not even listen to what they have to say. They just throw labels on them, very unfair labels. It's an old tactic. It's called defamation and slander and libel, and they're allowed to use that, you know. But anyways. So, I've added voice actor onto my resume. I predict the audiobook's going to be ready in about 2 weeks, maybe sooner. And when you get the book, if you have the written version, let my men know. I may even make a video where I can explain to the world exactly what Jesuits have done. But I believe that is correct. That Zack Knight has been using brain control so that people read my writings and they don't read what I wrote. They read what some Jesuit saboteur put in there. And then those people are the same people who go to my Amazon site and unfairly criticize my book, saying stuff about it that is not true. They're just out and out lying. And the Jesuits have to do that. Because I am. They made a movie, Silver Skies, starring Matthew McConaughey in 2005. And that's why Matthew fell in love with me. And he fell in love with me from reading Silver Skies. He thought it was one of the best books he'd ever read. So, and there's a Matthew McConaughey clone out there. And I noticed there's a Brent Spiner clone at Twitter, too. How can I tell? He's claiming that he's an atheist. Brent Spiner is no longer an agnostic. He accepted Christ as a Savior, and Jesus, the eternal bridegroom, goes into that. So, anyways, the audiobook's going to be coming out. And thank you for the fan who encouraged me to do it. That was a very good decision. We were able to catch one of Zack Knight's some of his treachery on my writing, and we're trying to fix it.